No. 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 What's going on, everyone? Jason here from Mystical Tomes. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting. Today we're going to be doing a brand new reaction from Chills, and it's called Top 10 Scariest Videos That Can Cure Constipation. And we all know Chills. We've seen his work. He does outstanding work. Go and show him the same love you guys showed me. As a quick disclaimer, I do not own this video in any way, shape, or form. This is just for sheer reaction purposes as always. And like I said, it belongs to Chills. If you like my reaction and my commentary, please hit the like bell, notification, and thumbs up button if you could, so we could beat that YouTube algorithm. On top of that, leave a comment in there and tell me what your favorite moment in this video was, or what other videos you guys would like me to react to in the future. And as always, let's get started. Oh, that's not creepy at all.
Hang on to your laxatives. These top 10 scary
There we go, I can hear it
videos
better.
are guaranteed to cure your constipation. Number 10, Scary Stalker. TikToker Hey It's Phoebes has a warning to be careful, and she has the security footage to back it up. Her door camera caught this alleged stalker in her apartment building. She says she had just gotten off work and didn't notice anyone following her, but someone was. The stalker apparently kept Sentiel outside her door for 2 hours, walking past back and forth as though on a stakeout.
So, I mean, I will, just in this one little smidgen of clip, like, if he was running up and down relentlessly, not even looking at the door, I'm just saying, hey, man, the guy's getting a free workout, he's doing stairs. But from what I'm looking at right now, he's stopping at the middle of the staircase, about facing it, looking down at the exact angle where that door camera is, and he just keeps doing it back and forth. That is super suspicious, and I do not recommend anyone stalking anybody. Keep to yourself. If, you know what, don't even engage with people if you're going to be like this, because it's not even fair to the other person. You know, there could have been multiple different things which could lead up to this. But you know, it's a horrible thing to deal with. It really is. I've had stalkers in the past. I've had random people text me saying I know where you live. It's not a fun experience. So my heart goes out to this lady.
A second video shows him repeatedly walking past her door, sometimes acting as if everything's normal, sometimes ducking out of sight. He is seen at 10:50 and at 11:05. He walks past again at 11:14, and then
Really
Phoebe's
weird.
boyfriend shows up at 11:35. This serves as an unfortunate reminder to be as aware of your surroundings as possible.
Exactly.
You never know who is following you. Number 9, Graveyard Ghost. Despite negative assumptions about them, witches were not all evil. This is evident by the story of Mary Miller Jason of York, Maine. She was gifted in producing healing methods to help the locals in her town.
I always love how these videos are completely out of focus too. That makes them for the best content.
Sadly, she fell victim to the witch hunt and was sentenced to hang in 1774. She's buried in the Old York Cemetery to this day, and many locals claim her friendly spirit continues to roam the grounds. Almost a decade ago, a group of friends ventured to the cemetery in an attempt to communicate with Mary. After much searching with no finds,
See, I understand that we are the most curious species on this planet. But when it comes to the unknown, stop touching stuff. That's all I can say. Literally, stop touching stuff. Stop trying to communicate with the dead. I've talked to multiple freaking sensitives, mediums, psychics, and they literally tell you, do not contact the dead. They want to be left alone. So if that's the case, leave them alone. Because once you open that doorway and you don't know how to close that doorway, you're going to get stuck with whatever happens. And you're going to have to take accountability for that. But please, don't do this. Don't try summoning someone. Don't try communicating with the dead. It never ends well. Just leave them alone. Let them rest. They already had a long life. They already had to deal with stuff like this, being at the witch trials, being hung, burned at the stake. Just leave them alone.
decides to stand by her grave alone while the others stand nearby. As they are filming the lone individual, an apparition manifests behind them, resembling a woman with long hair, but only her torso and head are visible. At close glance, it appears the apparition gently places her hands on the man's shoulders, rests for a moment, and then stands straight again before doing so again. The man leaves and the apparition disappears. Due to the video quality, it is hard to distinguish any other features other than arms and a torso, as well as a head.
You can definitely see it, and I have actually seen higher definition or higher quality of these videos. I don't know why it's so hard for me to talk right now. Probably because I haven't had my morning coffee at all. But yeah, I've seen higher definition of this video. It's usually on TikTok or something. They have a smaller frame. Like I said, when you enlarge a frame that's on a very small pigmentation of a screen, it's going to get very, very pixelated and not very clear. But when you have it on a much smaller screen, such as your phone, it's much clearer to see. So, yeah, you can see it on TikTok if you just look it up. But yeah, I believe in this stuff, absolutely. That's why I tend to stay away from it.
Head, but it moves fluidly as if it were a person. Could this have been the spirit of Mary, comforting the man or possibly trying to get his attention? The video ends claiming the man was never the same after that, which is ominous indeed. It is unknown if this was a joke, and there are certainly claims the video is faked. It is also possible the uploader found the video and added their own captions to it. At this point, it is up for viewers to decide if it's real or not. Number 8. Mysterious Bagman. You've never seen more chilling doorbell footage.
Anytime I see someone wearing a burlap sack on their head, I'm always thinking of two things. One, the old Jason Voorhees film on Friday the 13th, part 1 or 2 or 3, I can't really remember, or The Strangers. And when you hear that kind of stuff and you see that kind of stuff at your doorbell, that is really why a lot of people want to have a shotgun or a pistol or a rifle. And a lot of people want to get political about that. But these kind of situations, this justifies it. Because you're having a guy wearing a burlap sack on his head. Yes, it could be a prank. Could it be fake? Yeah, in that case, you wouldn't need that. But if you're having someone stalking you and looking as menacing as this, it kind of makes you want to have one. So there's a saying, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And it's just as a deterrent. That's all it is. And really, I really hope nothing else bad happens later in this film.
Published to YouTube by Ryan Godoy in April of 2020, this creepy doorbell footage is beyond the pale. Taken from a doorbell security camera, this homeowner receives a suspicious visitor in the middle of the night. The creepy visitor is seen walking along the sidewalk outside the home before he takes a sharp turn up the walkway leading to the front door. After meandering slowly up the path, he stands at the end of the walkway between two bushes. His head is covered with a bag, two eye holes cut out for the perp to see through. He's wearing gloves and is holding something in his right hand.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
really
distance,
weird.
a police siren sounds. The perp looks around for a second before placing whatever he's holding on the ground in front of him. He then slowly turns around and walks halfway down the sidewalk before taking a left and cutting through the homeowner's front lawn. Before we can even wonder what he's left behind, a chair that's on the front porch starts to move, scraping across the porch.
That is very unnerving. That is very unnerving. I really hope that guy wasn't being that much of a douche to frickin' place a cursed object or some kind of haunted item to infest their house with some kind of malicious spirit or any kind of curse. That is really bad. That was really good evidence right there.
White robe hanging off a column blows off its hook suddenly, though it doesn't appear windy outside. Then the terrifying bagman makes a sudden and unexpected reappearance, ringing the doorbell before walking out of sight again. The front lights turn
Let's look at his
on.
eyes. Let's look at his eyes.
Doorbell before walking out of.
Okay, it's just burlap material in front of his eyes. But that clearly looks like a guy that is on something, or he is on some kind of antipsychotic. You can see how dilated his eyes are. That's crazy how good definition this nighttime camera was. And yeah, I really hope nothing bad happened to this family that was living in the house.
Sight again. The front lights turn on. The homeowner opens the door and looks around. He spots the mysterious package that was left on his
Don't pick
porch.
it up. Don't pick it up.
It turns out to be a plastic bag with what appears to be a figurine inside.
Yep.
The man looks around again, then quickly returns inside and locks
don't bring
the
it
door.
inside.
When
No.
he does, he...
God, if I saw something like that in a plastic baggie, you call 911. You say, hey, someone left this at my doorstep. It's not mine. I don't know what it is. It might have drugs in it. I've never seen it before. I caught it on night security camera. And it's very unnerving. That's what I would say to the police. Because that kind of stuff, you just welcomed it into your house, right? You just welcomed it into your house, and now you're going to have unknown things happen to you. So it's just like, you got to be a little bit more aware of that. Because if I would have rewatched the security footage, I would have not brought that into my house. I would have not brought that into my house.
Soon discovers he's not alone. Several sounds occur at once. A baby crying, horrific screaming from, I presume, that same man, and banging, lots of banging.
What the hell? What the hell?
Whatever was in that plastic bag must have come to life. When it silences a bit, Bagman is at the front door again. This time he simply opens it and walks inside, locking the door behind him. A couple more thuds are heard.
This is really weird.
And Bagman walks outside with the plastic bag in his hands. He turns to look at the security camera before casually walking away. I figured this video had to be real, but according to the description, this is actually a short horror film in...
Well, they did an amazing job because the hair on my neck, the back of my neck and my arms are standing up on there. And they did a phenomenal job because really now I'm like, come on.
Ryan is the director, which is a relief because I thought something terrible happened here and it had me shook. At least our constipation is cured.
For real.
Number 7, creepy haunted house. While doing a walkthrough of a haunted house, the paranormal starts playing on this investigator's fears, published to YouTube by Shocking Paranormal in January.
Nope, I'm done. I'm done with the video. I'm done. I saw a shadow figure I've seen several shadow figures in my life before. For those of you who are new for my channel, I lived in a very haunted house with my parents. And then I moved. I lived in a haunted house when I was in like El Paso. And then, I live here, and I live right down the road from a cemetery, and my house is haunted. So when I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, that's exactly what they look like. They have their head hung down low. They just very effortlessly glide across there. And the thing is, I used to work at Lowe's, and everyone swore that place was haunted, right? And out of the corner of your eye, you would see a woman with long black hair just effortlessly, I can't even say that word, effortlessly glide out of the corner of the eye, just whoosh, and then it's all you can see, just whoosh, right that fast, just a split second. And I thought I was going crazy. And I remember one time I was helping my coworker out, and he needed help in the paint section, right? And he was gone for a second. There was paint cans thrown everywhere. And I'm not talking about big paint cans. I'm talking about like the small little stain cans or the little aerosol cans for the spray paint. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, that's not normal. That's not normal. And yeah, so that's exactly what they do. They just sit there, walk very quietly, and they just sit there and watch and see what you're doing the entire time. It's very unnerving.
Of 2012, this scary video is both shocking and paranormal. After the guy has been inside the house for a bit, he finds a faucet that is turned on. The faucet was off before. He leaves the bathroom and enters the living room. Panning the area, the camera encounters a creepy skull that's...
I was about to say, how are we gonna walk past a skull just sitting in the middle of the living room with it just being like, you know, side-jawed? And it's just sitting there staring at you. I'm like, you're not going to walk past it like it didn't happen. It's just like, yeah, it happened.
Sitting in the middle of the floor. He notes that it too was not there before. As he goes to pick it up, a bang is heard in the other room.
What the hell? That was not there before. What the hell is that?
He crosses to where he heard the noise and enters the laundry room. The door draws closed behind him on its own, and a weird sound is heard. It sounds like a laugh.
No, 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 I'm done. Oh, no. No, no, no. That's a hard pass for me. I don't do really well with this kind of stuff. My haunting in the multiple locations I've been in, they were something like this. You'd hear something or you'd feel something standing behind you or looking at you, even when you're going to the bathroom. For us guys, we leave the bathroom door open. You always felt like you're being watched in a different room when you're completely by yourself. And could that be anxiety? Sure. It wasn't anxiety, because that's just not how it was. After everything else, it was pretty terrifying. It was pretty terrifying to say the least. So, yeah, no, I don't deal with this kind of stuff. If I see it, I'm out of there. I book it. I'm not like one of those standard typical white people that will be like, oh, let's try to communicate with it. No, I'm out of the house immediately.
The door just shut by itself. I'm not kidding.
Later, while in the kitchen and dining room area, he asks if there's anything here and if it can make a noise. The entity responds in kind. Something raps repeatedly in the other room.
If there's anything here, could you please make a noise? Show you.
You asked it, it's gonna do it.
And yet he continues through the house. That's when he runs into an actual figure.
Nope.
A shadowy figure moves across an adjacent room backlit by a window, its head bent. Is this what's been making all the racket?
Most likely.
While in a dark office, the racket turns melodic as something or someone starts singing faintly. It giggles. While he hears voices and looks for the source, nothing more reappears.
No. 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 Absolutely not. It's a no. Period. No.
But his camera glitches. What happened to the investigator? Did he live to post this footage? Or was it found by someone else? Number 6.
That's why I said don't mess with the frickin' Ouija boards. Don't try communicating with the dead, because if they're going to communicate with you, they're going to communicate with you. So
Karachi
that's
Jinn,
some good
captured
evidence
on video near a tomb or a shrine in Karachi. This Jinn is just waiting to enter someone's soul. Published to YouTube by iScary Media in January
I love the pixelation on these.
2015. The video was taken on a dark path at night. Amongst some trees right next to the tomb, a spooky figure appears. At first, you can see only a blank pale face, but when the camera zooms in, its distinct features appear. The original uploader says his cousin filmed this video and claims that one of his friends became possessed the very same night of this visit. Was he possessed by this creepy demon? If so, I can guarantee that his constipation was cured. Number 5.
If I would have seen that, I would have just about faced and left. Because you know what? If it manifests itself, who knows what it's capable of. And a lot of people might not view this video, and a lot of people might not agree with me, but paranormal investigators, psychic shrinks, you know, exorcists, and everyone else's, if it manifests, it's going to possibly be able to harm you. It could attack you. It could latch onto you. It could follow you home. It could be physically violent to you. It could oppress you, then possess you. There's a number of things that can go wrong. That's why I just don't deal with it. I don't. So let me know in the comment section what you think about that.
Randomnautica Stalker. When you're being stalked while out on an innocent Randomnautica adventure, it's probably time to call it a night. Published to YouTube in July of 2021, Near Shadows gets the feeling that someone is following them. The first evidence of this is when the Randomnautica takes them to an empty warehouse or a factory.
See, I'm all for randonauticing. I actually tried doing it a couple times. I did it on my my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel called Legendary Adventures. And if you want to go check that out, I will leave a picture somewhere up here so you know what the profile is, because there's like 1,000 of them of 1,000 legendary adventures. So you could check that out, and it was always nothing. That's what I got, the location. So I tried it a couple times. I never got anything out of it.
Jeremy sees what he describes as a shadow figure cross along the back of the warehouse. We're not sure what he's seeing here, but we'll take the spirit's word for it.
Whoa. I just feel like I saw like a little figure go. What did it just say?
Voice.
Whoa.
Where are you seeing that at?
I just feel like I saw like a little figure go. What did it just say?
Voice.
Vice?
Fear me.
Oh.
When they asked the spirit through an app whether that was him running at the other end of the room, the spirit answers Vice and then adds, "Fear me. Are you afraid?" Later, they are brought to a creepy cemetery where they not only sense but see someone. Jeremy turns his light on and flashes it towards the gravestones, asking what the stalker is doing in the graveyard.
Don't put your light on him.
Yeah, for real.
Hey. Hey, what are you doing?
They start following him and say,
See, this is one thing you don't do. This guy, from what I'm looking at and what I'm just seeing now, where he disappears, he's playing a cat and mouse game. What he's going to do is he's going to run deeper into the cemetery, and you're going to chase him because you're in safety of numbers. And what you should have been doing was running back to your car and getting the hell out of Dodge. Ladies, if you're doing this by yourself, do not do this at night. Nighttime, it's probably a much higher threat level, and when it's during the daytime, at least you have clearer visibility and you at least know where you're going. If you're getting lost in the woods, make sure you have a knife with you and you can actually like strip the bark and stuff like that. That way you know which direction you're going, or break branches or something. That way you have a clear trail of which way you went. But yeah, if you have a stalker situation, don't try confronting him unless you have a gun or something. Like if he's like going to cause you physical harm, do not do this. Run in the opposite direction. I'm being serious. Run in the opposite direction. Get to your car, and don't ever do this by yourself. Make sure you have a couple friends with you, at least that way they have your back. Like I said, stalking should never be allowed. But it's an unfortunate time in our day and age where it happens. It's happened for thousands of years, and it's probably going to keep on happening for thousands of years ahead of us. So, unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, don't chase people that's in the middle of the night in a graveyard. Okay, just don't. That's one, it's disrespectful to the dead, and two, you should not just be doing it because, you're trying to act macho in front of your female friend. Just don't do it. It's not worth you losing your life.
He's running off. Soon they lose him as he races down into the trees in the woods. Not long after, they decide to leave, but when they arrive where they left their car, it's gone.
Babe, the car was right here.
Wait. Let me do my panic thing. Shh.
Tina brings out her phone and hits her panic button. Off in the distance, the car alarm goes off.
How did he get up there?
I heard it.
Who relocated?
Probably because the guy hot-wired the car. Not to be sounding like a smartass, but if the guy's a stalker, he probably has a couple other illegal trades up his sleeve, like how to hotwire a car, how to start the car without using the key, or so on and so forth. He probably knows how to do all that.
Their vehicle. Who is playing these tricks on them? Or is it their minds playing the tricks? They
Might be
spot
that.
Jones's headstone off to the left, which is the stone they first saw when they rolled into the cemetery. To the right is the same series of small headstones that greeted them. Their memories aren't failing them, so why is their car not where they left it? Randomnautica stalkers are kicking fear up a notch. Number 4, Myrtles Plantation Ghost. Located in Louisiana, the Antebellum Plantation, an historic home, is said to be one of the country's most haunted homes. Built in 1796, legend has it that the home was built over top of a native...
So, what the guy was holding, if you guys don't know, was a pair of dowsing rods. And the dowsing rods was supposed to connect to a spirit, or you basically have a spirit connect with those dowsing rods to move them and however they wanted, because it fluctuated with the geomagnetic waves of the planet. Like if there's like a solid thing of quartz is a geomagnetic frickin' magnet. Spirits can draw off that, apparently, so on and so forth. Dowsing rods could do that, where they can move them at free will, but they've also been debunked in a number of cases. I don't know off the top of my head, but people still use them. So it's a 50-50 on that if it's legit or not. With these guys, I've seen a couple of their videos. It doesn't really seem authentic to me. Again, no critique off them. It's just from what I'm basing it off of.
Burial ground. Ghost sightings of Native American women have been reported here. The overnight team investigates the haunted Myrtles Plantation in this scary video published to YouTube in July of 2021. In an attempt to communicate with the spirit, the crew uses rods to ask whether they're male or female.
Can you make these rods cross? If you are a female, make them go outwards.
The spirit responds that it's female. When asked where she's standing, it points forward, and shortly after, an EMF device in that same spot starts to go off.
Dude, I'm not even close. I am...
You actually are pretty close, because that thing has to be like in the middle of the room by yourself. It's like a 3 to 5 meter diameter, and that guy's like 2.5 feet away from there. Of course, that's just the angle it looks like. Again, I'm not bashing these guys. It's just the stuff that I'm seeing. That's what I'm basing it off of.
When asked if the ghost is comfortable with them being there, the ghost answers in the affirmative.
Do you feel uncomfortable with us being here? Cross for yes, cross outwards for no. Just comfortable.
Later, one of the crew sits down at an organ and starts playing some creepy tunes. Multiple devices are triggered at once, as though the spirits have all come out to enjoy the show.
Keep playing.
It's working, keep playing.
That just went off.
It just went off, there's no one over there.
How are you going to capture any evidence if all you guys do is basically yell and scream and everything else? Like, I get it. It's TV. It's for views. But if you're trying to actually capture evidence, hey, we got stuff going on over here quietly in the walkie-talkies. Or just, hey, got a lot of activity going on over here. You don't have to yell it and beller it out, because that's how you scare them away.
Next, they're in a darkened room, standing with several candles lit, when a door in an adjacent room closes.
Oh my...
You can hear it squeak closed. Someone says it sounds like a kid screaming. They then try to communicate with the
was
spirits
a door.
via spirit box. These entities seem adamant that the crew remain there at the plantation. The overnight crew is told to stick around and stay in.
Stick around.
Stick around.
Those two parts right there where it says stick around, stay in, those are really good pieces of evidence, so I will give them that.
Stay in.
They decide to test out a new device that is somewhat like a Ouija board. There are 2 light bulbs on either side, and as the wheel of letters spins,
What did I say about Ouija boards? Don't touch Ouija boards.
one of the light bulbs lights up to indicate the letter.
Oh, what is this?
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Wait, no, but it did it out here first. Oh, wait.
Try it again.
Yeah, it's this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's this. Look, it's box.
Is it really?
Yeah, it lights up the letters.
Later, they speak to the spirits via one of the crew. They ask the spirit to wish Evan a happy birthday. The spirit says old and later 20.
Old.
The spirit also says guilty, off limits, and some sort of loud scream. They see some flashing that they believe is coming from outside. What that flashing was, they never found out. If I were them, I'd stay far away from this haunted place. Number 3.
I would agree with that, because there's a lot of different things. I'm kind of mixed on how I feel about that video. Yes, they captured some good pieces of evidence, such as the EVP saying, you know, stick around, stay in, all that stuff. When they were playing the organ or the piano, they were actually getting a lot of I think it's called geomagnetic frickin' readings and stuff, or something like around the lines, you know, like an electric frickin' signal for the little light box shows that they have over there. to be reacting to that. And if there's no electricity in the entire building, then those lights shouldn't be activated at all. But if anything comes in contact within between like 2 or 4 or 3 or 5 feet, they'll light up. So I mean, it's kind of iffy. I mean, if anyone's in the professional field of paranormal investigating, can you please let me know in the comment section down below if I'm right or not, or just to even critique me, just to let me know and educate me a little bit more, because you know I want to know more. But yeah, so far so good. Let's keep going. We're almost done with the video.
Conjuring house built in the 12th century. The ancient Ram Inn is a haunted pub in England, one of the country's most haunted buildings. It is said to be infamous for the rituals performed there, the perfect haunted place for the dark arts TV crew to chill out overnight in. Published to YouTube in August of 2021, the dark arts TV crew enters what is basically the UK's conjuring house. The crew quickly breaks out the spirit box to communicate with the entities in the inn. One of the spirits says the word demon, pretty quickly suggesting what these guys are in for.
Demon. Demon.
I think I heard
Demon.
demon. Yeah.
I didn't hear a single thing. Let's listen to that again.
The word demon, pretty quickly suggesting what these guys are in for.
Demon.
Says something about demons, something like that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Demon.
As they're speaking through another device, they tell the entities that if they don't want them here, they won't stay. A disembodied whisper is heard.
If you tell us to leave, we'll leave right now. We'll never come back here again. If not, we're gonna stay here.
I didn't even hear it. I didn't hear anything, so that's why I'm kind of like, what did they hear? I heard a whisper, that's it. I think that said something about leave or here or something. It's weird.
At that same table shortly after, they're just chatting again when a jewel hanging on a candelabra starts moving on its own. One of the jewels is moving, suggesting that some invisible entity flicked it just to mess with them. Not long after, the cameraman...
I mean, that is good evidence, because you saw all the other ones, they were slightly shaking, probably due to the guys bumping the table, but just one individual gem, which probably weighs like, I don't know, 1/3 of a pound or less, if that thing's just shaking by itself and all the rest of them are barely even nudging, then yeah, that's a good piece of evidence right there. That's actually really good.
And feels that something touched his leg.
Yeah, I definitely. Because what it is I think.
Whoa, what? Bro, someone just touched my leg.
What?
Seriously, someone just rubbed up against my leg.
He jumps from the chair and twirls around. He says it felt like a cat rubbing up against him. What is in that room with them? As they notice, the candelabra jewel is moving again. They hear footsteps in the hallway.
Explainable. But maybe us.
Footsteps.
Nah, sure.
They spring from the table. No doubt this creepy inn's reputation is well earned. Number 2.
I will say it on this, and yes, again, it is for TV and views, and I mean no disrespect in the slightest, but when you see these younger guys go on there, a lot of the time is they barely capture anything, and they just 90% of it is just screams, or they over exaggerate saying, oh, something rubbed up against my leg, and they're running around shaking the camera, and you can't really see what's going on. From all the other videos that I've seen, when they have an older, more experienced group, they usually tend to keep their composure, and they tend to basically tend to keep a lot of control in their emotions, and they'll keep their composure and, you know, keep calm, because if it happens, it happens. You're not going to stop a spirit or a deceased animal's ghost or any of that energy to stop rubbing up against your leg, because it's going to happen. They're going to do it whether you like it or not. And, you know, whether it's malicious or not, it still did it, but you just got to, you know, keep calm, because when you freak out, you feed them your energy, and that's what they thrive off of. You don't want that.
2. Sign of the cross. Evil spirits are notoriously afraid of crosses. This one has no fear though. Published to YouTube by Dark Path Scary in August of 2021 and originally published by Donna Aries, this scary video gets straight to the point. Donna is sitting on the floor doing something when the cross hanging on the wall starts to swing from side to side. Donna doesn't notice at first, but it continues to swing. She must see the movement out of the corner of her eye because she finally spots it and stops in her tracks. She just sits and stares in awe as it swings back and forth. What would you think of a spirit who wasn't fazed by a crucifix?
I'd be probably thinking, oh boy, it's not afraid of the power of Christ, you know? But again, you also got to look at the history of the land that you're living on. It depends on where they're living. If it's like in Great Britain, there was probably like a giant battle against like the whatever, you know, pagan freaking religions there was there. Probably got killed there because the freaking expansion of Rome, or the Britons or neighboring clans and stuff, they got killed there, and people after centuries of living there, they just started living there, and then they just built up on top of it. So there's probably a lot of pent-up energy there. Or there was a murder involved there before these people moved in. There's a number of things that can go wrong with this.
It's probably not fazed by much else. I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this far, why not like this video and hit subscribe in the next 5 seconds?
I did.
Because I upload 4 new scary videos every week. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. Number 1, boots on the ground. This creepy image.
Yeah, if I saw that, my heart would probably stop and I'd be already okay with what would happen to me. I wouldn't know what to do with it. If I turned around and it's already there, I'd be like, well, crap. That's the only thing you could think of is like, oh, crap, it's there, you know? It's just like, I'm good.
Has been trending online, and its mysterious origins were at first just guesswork. Well, it appears as though it was taken in what we can only guess were the last moments of the photographer's life. This terrifying encounter is thankfully fictional. I've tracked it down to the 2017 horror flick Boots on the Ground. The scary story is about 5 British soldiers who are trying to make it out of Afghanistan alive in their final mission. They come head to head with both man and monster. Which is more powerful? Judging by this nightmare in photograph form, we're guessing these creatures won out.
I would have to say, I mean, that's a disturbing foot picture right there, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that would be a disturbing scene if I turned around and a creature like that was standing right behind me. And being in Afghanistan, where it gets anywhere from 120 to 140 degrees with 0 wind some days, yeah, it would be downright terrifying. You'd be fatigued, dehydrated, and on top of that, you'd be ultimately, most likely, beaten the crap out of or killed by that monster. But as always, if you guys like my YouTube breakdown and commentary of these videos by Chills, let me know in the comment section down below. If you could also do me the world favor of having the most generous heart and hitting that like, subscribe, and bell notification, it would beat the YouTube algorithm to make my YouTube channel grow. And also, you'd be joining the Mystical Tomes family, so we can make this channel bigger and better, and we can do bigger and better things with it. So as always, I am Jason from Mystical Tomes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.